What's good, y'all? We back with another video, man. Today we got to talk about LUKA Dončić, one of the league's greatest scorers, one of the league's greatest players. Very young guy. I can't even say very young because he's 27. The man is older than me. But I just felt like this last season, they ran a smear campaign against my guy's name, bro. Like, it seemed like no matter what he did, no matter how much he scored, how good of the plays he made, like, the NBA just wasn't messing with him. And today we got to just put Luka back on the mat, man. LUKA DONČIĆ, man of tomorrow. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. I'm not even going to lie. I just shot this whole video at my crib and it didn't even record. So I'm just going with the flow now. This video is going to be split up into 3 sections. Number 1, the 25-26 season. Number 2, Luka's off season. And then number 3, what's next for the Luka? Not for the Luka, for Luka. Well, yeah, what's next for Luka, but also what's next for the Lakers. So make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Turn me up, man. I'm on that YouTube grind again. So let's get straight into it. So Luka played 64 games this year for the Lakers. He averaged 33.7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1.6 steals a game. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how you average that much and do not finish top 3 in MVP voting. And this is why I say I feel like there's a smear campaign on his name because, bro, he averaged 33, 7, and 8 with 1.6 steals on 61% true shooting, right? He shot 47% from the field, 36% from 3, and 78% from the free throw line. And I'm not gonna lie, like, that's not the craziest stat line, but like, what more does this man have to do? It feels like at this point, Luka has to cure cancer. It feels like that's what Luka has to do. And like, Lakers finished 4th in the West, 53-29. Luka put the Lakers on his back this season. Nothing short of sensational season for him, especially in March, because in March, you know, right before he tore his or injured his hamstring against OKC, he averaged 37 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists in March in 16 games they played. Like, that's a demon month right there from a demon guy named LUKA Dončić, the Don, El Matador, LUKA Dončić, whatever you want to call him, bro. Like, he also, bro, 1.6 steals a game. He finished this season with 105 steals, and that was 6th in the league league-wide. He finished 6th in the league this year in steals. This is the guy that they said was out of shape, poor condition, couldn't play defense, and was just clueless and didn't know what he was saying. Yo, it was people this year that believed that Luka was the worst player this year defensively. And I think, like, these numbers, like I said, he finished 6th in the league with 105 steals this season and averaged 1.6 steals a game. So you can tell he definitely has improved on defense. And I'm going to talk about his defense a little bit more later in this video, but just an absolutely crazy season. NBA All-Star for the 6th time this year. All-NBA for the 6th time this year. Just absolutely crazy. Like, I feel like he dominated, and sadly, you know, that injury against OKC stopped something very insane. Now, real quick, I'm going to check if this video is still recording. All right, we still live, thankfully. But absolute demon this year, bro. I think if he didn't get injured against OKC, I am not saying, like, in any way, shape, or form the Lakers were, like, title favorites or even, like, contenders or champions. But, bro, you put 33, 7, and 8 on 61% true shooting next to AR and Bron. Come on now, man. Like I said, I'm not going to say they would have won the whole thing, but they would have probably went a lot farther than they did. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next part of this video where I talk about Luka's offseason. Now, but hold on. Before I talk about this real quick, though, right? He finished 53-29 in the West. Like, you cannot. I mean, like, and we know how wild the West get because, unfortunately, the 3 guys that finished, you know, ahead of him for MVP voting, Victor, Jokic, and SGA, played for the 3 teams that were on top of the Lakers in the standings. So I think, you know, even when you look at guys like Tatum and Brunson and Jokic and SGA, guys who are sort of around that same age range as Luka, and see what they've done in the league. I mean, they've all won rings in situations where they were favored to win. You get what I'm saying? And Luka hasn't had one season yet where he was favored to win. Even if you look at the 24 season where they went and they played against the Celtics, you get what I'm saying? The Celtics was one of the best teams of all time, bro. Luka was not beating that squad, bro. And we all know what Kyrie did in that series. Kyrie, you my dog, but he needed somebody with him and nobody showed up. And that's why they lost, low key. But like, let's just be honest, man. All these guys, like, yo, if you look, bro, I hope I didn't say Victor in that last sentence, because Victor ain't win yet. He still got a couple more years, but like, yo, Jokic played against a playing team in the finals. You're highly favored to win that. Tatum played a very good Dallas Mavericks team, but like I said, on paper, like statistically, that's one of the greatest teams of all time. You get what I'm saying? Highly favored. Nobody thought the Mavericks had even the slightest, like, people laughed that, you know, people laughed at the idea of the Mavericks doing anything against that Celtics squad. You get what I'm saying? You look at SGA. You get to a game 7 against the Pacers, right? And the Pacers' best player, yo, I'm spitting everywhere, but like, you gotta see the heart and the aggression that I'm coming with here. Your SGA playing for the Thunder against a Pacers team in the game 7, and Halliburton goes down. To this day, I'm like, bro, why? Why did he have to go down? But the point I'm trying to make here is that these are highly favored situations for some of these guys that LUKA DONČIĆ has not had the luxury of receiving. You get what I'm saying? And then him getting traded and having a team, which I'm gonna get into, like, you know, the team, because I think that the Mavericks gave the Lakers, and not only just the Lakers, but the whole league, the blueprint for how you build around a guy like Luka. 3-and-D rings, 3-and-D wings, my bad. 3-and-D wings, lob threats, like big men that can protect the paint. You get what I'm saying? Guys that can create their own shot. Bro, Dallas had all of that, and we seen what happened. They ran into one of the greatest teams of all time. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go ahead and get into the second part of this video real quick. So now we're gonna talk about the second part of this video, Luka's offseason. I think last year, before his first full year with the Lakers, I think he lost like 30 pounds, men's health cover. He did his thing, bro. He got in there and he took it a lot more serious. And you saw it when he played against Slovenia. When he played with Slovenia, my bad. You seen it when he played with Slovenia. You seen it, you know, during the season. I mean, hamstrings are so, like, hamstrings are very tricky. Like, what do you do to trigger a hamstring injury? And then obviously, you got to be super careful with hamstring injuries, because we've seen it in the past where guys have torn their hamstrings, partially injured it, did all types of things, and you got to be real careful with that, because you come back too soon, now you're ruining the rest of your career. You get what I'm saying? And I think that a lot of the work he did in the offseason got overshadowed by that hamstring injury. But I mean, as you see, like I said, 1.6 steals a game, you know, 105 steals for the season. Defense was obviously something that he kept in mind. You get what I'm saying? Obviously something that, you know, he worked for, and you've seen that. And there's always improvements to be made. A lot of possessions where, you know, guys will drive by him or he won't be where he needs to be. I think defense is like 50% effort and 50% like what you have. You get what I'm saying? Some of the best defensive players in this league aren't 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 6'11" giants. You get what I'm saying? Even a guy like Marcus Smart, who I believe comes in at it like maybe 6'4", 6'5". I'm going to have to, do not fact check me on that. But like a guy like Marcus Smart, who his whole career, up until even being on the Lakers, is known for being a super high energy, high defensive guy. And necessarily, like, he doesn't have the craziest wingspan or the craziest height. It's his effort and it's his heart. And, you know, not even just him, but guys like Kawhi, guys like Victor, Giannis, other guys who have had crazy defensive seasons, you know. And obviously I'm talking about guys who are very gifted, you know, physically, no diddy, and are able to make these things happen. You get what I'm saying? But so, you know, just for like this offseason, I want to see I want to see Luka make more strides defensively. You get what I'm saying? I think at 6'7", as a point guard, he definitely has the tools to make it happen. We just got to see the effort. We just got to see the grind, the work. You get what I'm saying? And then another thing I wanted to see Luka improve on as well is his off ball. You're playing with one of the greatest players of all time, LeBron James, and another great player in AR. You know, move around off, you know, just being strictly heliocentric. You know, pass the ball, move around, go set a screen, go cut to the basket, go do something. When I think about off-ball work, one of the first players that come to mind is Steph, right? Steph is only as good as he is because of the work he does off-ball, fighting around screens, moving on the court. Steph Curry is a threat. You get what I'm saying? And offensively, he's the greatest shooter we've seen of all time, right? But like, Steph doesn't just come down and run and shoots it. In a lot of possessions he does, but a lot of these possessions, it's a lot of off-ball work. Getting to your shot, making the defenders guess what's next, where are you going? And that is what makes Steph so lethal. And I think that like if Luka can harness that type of energy off ball and become like an off ball pest, you know, even just defensively as well. I am spitting like crazy, but even just like defensively as well, what can I do to, you know, sort of throw the offensive player off? Or like, it's 5 of us, 4 other players. That's what I meant to say. It's 4 other players on the court. You get what I'm saying? So the heliocentric ball, you know, it pops. You could pop your stuff. You could kick your pimping with that in the regular season, but in the off season, when the game slow down and defenses become more aware of what you're doing, like off ball, you gotta do more stuff like that. And hopefully, I'm gonna talk about like what the Lakers could do with their roster as well, but like hopefully the Lakers continue to put certain guys around him that make it easier for him to, you know, perform on the offensive end. And then, you know, like the last part that I had as well, oof, let me go get my water. I had to go eat Vine for the water real quick. Hold up. The last thing that I want to see Luka improve on as far as the offseason is finding a good balance between Slovenia and LA or whatever team he plays on. I think it was very important for him last season to sort of get in rhythm and get those reps, you know, especially after losing that much weight and, you know, preparing for his first full season as a Laker. And, you know, I think it can be helpful, but it can also be like a detriment to him, because if you play, you know, so like this year they made it to the second round, but Luka got injured. I think it was the 2nd of April 2nd. If he would have played a few more weeks of basketball and then went to go play with Slovenia, like by the end of the next season, he's going to be burnt out. You get what I'm saying? And I think he did a lot of work on conditioning his body and agility and speed and all of that stuff. So I think that won't be too much of an issue now. But as you get older, you know, you got to find that balance between going overseas and playing for Slovenia and holding, you know, the Lakers down. You get what I'm saying? And I actually seen something that Jackson Hayes is now like a citizen of Slovenia now. And that's pretty interesting, because I don't know about Jackson Hayes, but I can tell you he's nowhere near like Slovenian. But it's hilarious and it's interesting, because another great point to make and to understand is that when Luka goes and he plays for Slovenia, he's not playing with other NBA guys like how Victor has Batum and Gobert and Evan Fournier and all these other guys, or Shea has Lou Dort and Jamal Murray and Dylan Brooks, and, or, you know, even like Serbia. I'm pretty sure Bogdanovic, he played with Jokic. Luka doesn't have that luxury of going over there and being able to also be, you know, joined by NBA talent. If I'm correct, well, now they have Jackson Hayes. I mean, Jackson Hayes isn't, he's probably like a decent average bench center, but other than that, Luka is going to Serbia, or not Serbia, he's going to Slovenia to play and carry that team. So it's like if you have to carry Slovenia and then you have to carry LA, you're going to be super burnt out. And like I don't want to see that from Luka, because I'm gonna let this car pass. But the way it's looking right now, Luka is just looking like an exotic Melo, right? Heliocentric engine who can go out there and do crazy stuff. And I do believe that Luka Doncic is the man of tomorrow for the Lakers. You get what I'm saying? That's the reason why they traded AD for him. And I think that, like I said, if he can find that balance, he'll be pretty straight. But it's like you can't carry Slovenia on your back and LA on your back and then have like an illustrious championship career. And that's just not possible. That doesn't happen. So that's all I got for the second part of this video. Next, we got to talk about what's next for the Lakers. So I think going into this offseason, the Lakers have the most cap space out of any team in the NBA to basically do whatever, right? And I have a list of guys right here and a few other guys in my mind that I may or may not share. Who knows? But the list that I have is Daniel Gafford, Jared Allen, Walker Kessler, Isaiah Hartenstein, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, Yves Missy, Quentin Grimes, Peyton Watson, and Isaiah Joe. I don't know how they could acquire these guys. I mean, some of these guys I think are free agents. These are guys who are on the trade block, especially guys like Trey Murphy and Herb Jones. Even guys like Hartenstein, who are in or even like Jared Allen, who are in situations where they are a part of contending teams, but their future is not as certain as some of these other guys and stuff like that. And truth be told, I think the Mavericks gave not only the Lakers, but the entire league the blueprint on how to build a team around Luka, right? Like you need 3-and-D wings, you need lob threats, shooters, good rebounding and defending big men. You get what I'm saying? Like I said Gafford because Gafford should be an easy pickup. It could be an easy pickup for the Lakers, but if you've seen a lot of the work he did in, I believe it was the 23-24 season where they picked him up. Don't quote me on that, but if you see a lot of the work that Gafford did down low, bro, he is almost like the perfect center for Luka. And there's like a 15-wheeler truck pulling in right now. I'm in the middle of a parking lot, but this part is probably gonna have to get edited. I'm gonna try to record over this loud truck backing up and beeping and tearing up my video. But yeah, like Gafford did a lot of good work. He's like a lob threat. He's like a very good around the rim defensively. He has a very interesting touch around the rim offensively as well. But I'm not going to go through this list, but some of these names like Jared Allen, could you imagine if Luka had Jared Allen down low? Oh my God, just disgusting. Even guys like Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, guys who can go out there and get stops and then also come down and get you a bucket. You get what I'm saying? The Lakers have to be very careful and very quick with how they built this roster around Luka, because if I'm correct, I think he has 2 more years. The Lakers have to be very quick and very precise with who they pick up, because Luka has 2 more years on his contract. And right now, it may not look like there's one specific team that needs him or can take him, but like 2 years down the line, Orlando might have the perfect team for him. You get what I'm saying? 3 years down the line, you get what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe Miami has a team for them, and has a spot for him. And I know they just traded for Giannis. That's a whole different video within itself. But it's so many guys, like even like Quentin Grimes. He was a part of that Dallas Mavericks squad too, and he is a very good shooter. You know, he's a decent defender, but you know, he definitely helps, and he's a guy that you want to add on to this team. You get what I'm saying? And I think even like Walker Kessler, he's been a guy who's been connected to the Lakers a lot. I think he can provide a lot of help and be almost like the perfect big to put next to Luka. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I think the Lakers have the most cap space, and I think the number is 51 million. That 51 million has to go to getting this team better around Luka. You get what I'm saying? I mean, you trade AD for him, and he has to be the cornerstone of your franchise. He has to be the man of tomorrow. But that's all I got for y'all today, man. I'm big Luka fan, Luka FC. You see the jersey, bro. I had to get this jersey. I got this jersey right after he hit that game winner against the Clippers, his first year in the postseason, man. Been a Luka fan. I'm gonna continue to be a Luka fan. I know it's a lot of Luka fans out there. Man, he's had a very interesting career so far. Like I said, 6-time All-NBA, 6-time NBA All-Star. What else do you want from this guy, Luka, man? Like I said, it seemed like this season, if he didn't have the cure for cancer, they wouldn't talk about him. But Luka's going to be just fine, man. I think I believe in the Lakers a little bit, just a little bit. I do hope that if the Lakers don't give him the squad that he needs, that he gets out of there and he does what he has to do. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, that's all I got for y'all, man. I'm back on YouTube. I'm going to try to drop like a lot of content. GTA videos coming soon. Script rewrites, not rewrites, but like script pitches and stuff coming soon. I want to do an Avengers Doomsday pitch. I'm talking too much about my plans before I do them. Like, share, subscribe. Deuces, man. Turn me up.